Hello, everyone. Logan Sennhauser here. Sennhauser Racing Team. Blah blah blah. Wanted to do a quick video on the dashboard. Some people in the live streams and commenters and whatnot have been leaving questions about how I set this up, what it is, and how I did it for such a cheap price. So I decided I was going to take some time today to throw together a quick video of how it functions, and then later in the video, I'm going to put a timestamp, but also, how you can set it up if you would like to do it yourself. And then, of course, I'll have the link to the product page for this thing, so that you can buy the exact same setup that I have. So, and then, it'll be affiliated, blah, blah, blah. I think I get like 1% if you decide to buy it, but hey, every little thing helps. So, anyways, we're going to jump into it here. So the first thing, obviously, I wanted to show how it behaves when I'm not in a session. It's kind of cool. So it just shows my number, and then my name, and then if you pay a little extra monthly, you can customize some more things and have it do animations and stuff, which I do not do. I just have this static image with my number 302. So next we're going to hop into the sim, and I'm going to show you how it behaves while I'm driving. Okay.
Breaker, you got a copy?
Spotter, radio check.
So I just loaded into the session here. You can see that the dashboard actually just changed to how it behaves while I'm in the session. So I customized the box on the left and the box on the right. I've customized to show some information that I appreciate, as well as you can change kind of what the shift indicator and stuff looks like here. I have mine customized to show me the current time. And then I'll show you a few things when we get out on track here. So we're gonna get in the car. This is just the Corvette. You can see I have my screen set up so that I can, so that my dashboard covers the virtual dashboard. Part of the reason I purchased this thing and set it up was because of the way I have my monitor set up. I couldn't see the dashboard in every car that I'm driving. So this allows me, no matter what car, I see the same data in the same spot. But some cars I do need to adjust the driver height a little bit just to kind of get it. There we go. Now we're connected. So you can see pit limiters displayed, and then now that I've gotten going here, you'll see I also have, well, I guess we need to get a little bit more into the rev range here. So here we go. You can see I also have the lights, my shift indicator lights, up top, which again, super helpful, just so that I know, what my shift points are and stuff like that. Or, if I'm taking a gear and way too high, or taking a turn and way too high of a gear or whatever else. It's showing me my inputs and stuff down here, track temperature, outside temperature if it's dry or wet. My traction control settings, so you see if I adjust this, my traction control settings will pop up. Same thing with ABS, it'll tell me, what ABS and brake bias as well. Help if I keep the car on track. So now you can see I went off track, and it's showing me a 1X on the dash as well. There are a few things it's not showing me right now, just because I'm not in a public session. There's no other cars on track. So I'll go ahead, and after this, I will join a public session so you can see the rest of the data I can see. But before I do that, the other thing I want to point out is the fuel level down here in the bottom right. So it's showing me, 13 gallons. It's showing me my average burn per lap and how many laps it estimates I have left in the tank. It'll also show me estimated time, and it'll show me how much fuel I need to get to the end of the race. But I use, the automated systems to calculate that anyways. But yeah, so let me wreck the car. And I'm going to join a live session and show you kind of some of the other data. And then, like I said, after that, we'll talk about how to set this up. So now I'm in a live session. I don't know which of these two cameras I'm going to use for this. So now you can see the dashboard looks a little bit different. You're seeing my previous best lap time over here, and it will also display my last lap as well as my best lap in the session. Over here, you'll see my class opponents. So it'll, in quali, it'll tell you your gap to the car behind based on your lap times. In a race, it'll tell me my position without other classes in between. So, and if someone's a lap up but they're behind me, it'll tell me that there's a lap difference. And then, let's see, I've also got it set up for my relatives box, because my goal is to keep everything off of the main display. And then I also have just track opponents. So it shows the car in front of you and the car behind you, regardless of class, lap, whatever. And then on the left, I do, again, lap times. Tires, I haven't really used. I have it up there. It might be useful for enduros. And then my I rating estimation, which it also shows up at the top left here. So you can see I'm in a 2.2 strength of field, 2.2 thousand strength of field right now. And, that's it'll then show me if I'm going to gain IR or lose IR based on my position in the race. And that's kind of it. So I'll do some laps and maybe throw in some quick videos of what it looks like when you're running around other cars. And then I'll show you how to set it up. So I can see when I came out on pit lane, because I have my track opponents shown, I have a 5-second gap in front and a 7-second gap behind. And the other thing that's really nice is I can also see their last lap, their best lap, and their I rating as well as their safety rating. So you can know, like, if you have a lapped car coming up on you that's sketchy, you'll know pretty quick because you'll see, oh, that's a 500 IR D-class driver that's running the BMW GT4 in the production car challenge. Let's give him a shit ton of space, right? So first off, wanted to show off the livery. Second off, now we're going to take the time to jump into what softwares I'm using, how I have them set up, and how you can set them up on your computer. So I'm going to actually uninstall everything and do it from scratch here. So I'll see you in a sec. One thing I'm realizing I didn't talk about, so I'm going to have to insert this somewhere, is the way I have it mounted is a 3D printed mount that I designed that slots into this slot in the back of the display there. It comes with a good mount that has a stick, like a flat sticky section that if you don't have a monitor set up like this would be a lot easier to set up. I just have access to a 3D printer and I wanted to make a tiny little sleek mount. So you can see it's pretty sturdy. It gives me no issues while I'm driving. So that's how it's mounted. But like I said, in the kit, there's a lot of different mounting options. And then HDMIs are plugged in on the side along with power here. You can get some adapters that bring it around the back or something to make it look sleeker. This hasn't bothered me, but the cables do stick out a little bit. And then I just have it ran down. I have, cable jungle under here, but it's one of those plugs on the power strip, running zip tied up the side here. And then the HDMI goes through this tether to the back of my graphics card. So that's the setup. One other thing to keep in mind that I want to make sure I mention in this video is that most graphics cards only support up to 4 displays at a time. So I'm at the maximum amount of displays here. And I know some people are like, oh, a dash, but they already have 4 displays or triples and a 4th or something, whatever. Just read up on that, see what works for you. You can always, I think, use onboard graphics or get like another smaller graphics card or something like that just to power. I don't know the details of that, but that's just something, to be aware of. Okay, so first step, these links are down in the description, but the first place you want to go is you want to grab SimHub if you don't already have it. This tool is incredibly powerful. This is what I'm using to run my dash, but you can use it to run base shakers, any dashboard you want, motion, Arduinos, wind machines. It's endless. So it's a really good program to have. Like I said, a lot of really cool features in it. So we're gonna grab that. So now you're gonna go to your downloads folder, open up the SimHub application that you downloaded. And it's going to give you, sometimes it'll give you this firewall question. I'm not saying that SimHub is, I got to click yes on the other screen. I'm not saying SimHub is like safe or anything like that. You do this at your own discretion. I've never heard bad things about it, and tons of people in the community are running it. I've never had issues, but obviously if it's giving you that error, there's some concern there. So just be aware, make your own decision there. We're going to agree one more time. Program files. Don't create a desktop shortcut and install. Okay, fresh launch of SimHub, hopefully. Here we go. Okay, so the window opened on my other display, and it wouldn't let me drag it until I filled out some text boxes, or not text, but just like filled out some info. So I'll include screenshots here. The first one was just like data for your region. So like gallons versus liters, mile per hour versus kmh, whatever, kph, sorry. and then it asked me what games I have on my system. So I selected iRacing and Assetto Corsa Competizione. Sure. And then it launched into this. So you can see the two games I selected. It's got all these feedback things here. But nothing's really configured. So like I said, very powerful tool. A lot of things you can do here. The only thing I'm going to talk about is setting up the dashboard. Okay, so this is the next thing we're going to grab, and you'll be kind of familiar with this dash. You'll see a lot of people that use this. This dashboard, like this dashboard software or plugin, is really, really, really popular. So I'm on their, main website. I'm going to click download now, and they have a few different versions of it. So they have, the normal, the more vanilla one. This is meant for like a secondary display. So like I don't know, track maps, stuff like that. Tony Kanon colors, because there's Tony Kanon everything. I made to accommodate, curved top screens. That's not, my setup, so I'm gonna not worry about that. They also have it for extended, so 10-inch displays, kind of like the one that I have for my streaming display. And then they also have like super ultra wide, you know, dashboards as well. However, oh yeah, and then they have flags if you want to use a dash for, or a display for flags, and then overlays and whatever else. So with that being said, the one I use is just the vanilla dashboard. So I'm going to download that. It downloaded in like 2 seconds, and then I'm just going to open that file, and it should put it all into SimHub for me. So install fonts, import into SimHub library. Install was successful. So the first step is going to be to download this lovely plugin, which is the main brains of the lovely ecosystem. Unverified download. We're going to download the file again. I've had this on my computer. I trust it. That you need to make that decision for yourself. Okay, so after you download this DLL file, you want to come and find your program files, so like your install location for your SimHub, and you want to drag this into it, and then restart SimHub here. So you want to open it back up. And okay, so now it's giving me new plugins have been detected because we put that file into the folder. And basically you decide if you want to enable it. So obviously I want to enable it, and I want to show it in the left menu, which is this menu on the left side of the screen, with all the other items, that you might want to include in there. So now, yeah, here it is. So your lovely plugin is right here. The other thing I didn't know I needed to grab when I first got into SimHub is the Post-it note plugin. So we're going to grab that as well, and that's what allows the dash to predict your IR, and it gets some different data, or estimates some different data, that helps the dash, calculate things that it wouldn't normally be able to calculate. So we're going to grab that as well, and that link will be provided in the description. So here we are at the GitHub for the Post-it note racing download. Latest plugin is 1.0.7.8 as of today. So we're going to grab the DLL. Again, this is the same file type that we downloaded for the Lovely Dash plugin. And then again, we're just going to drop this in. We're going to drop this in the program files or the SimHub file folder that is in the program files. So bang, we've got that in there. Now we're going to open SimHub again. And here's yet another plugin it wants me to allow. So I'm going to allow it. I don't necessarily need to see this in the left menu. I'm going to do it here just because I can't honestly remember what info's in here. Yeah, so you can reset your laps and just adjust different telemetry things. I've just left it at stock settings. I don't really mess with any of these. Okay, so now your lovely plugin's showing up on the left side here. So you're going to click into here, and this is where you customize everything on your dashboard. So right now, I don't have my dashboard set. We did install it, but it's not, I haven't set up all the info for that. So first things first, we're going to want to scroll down and find the lovely dashboard that we installed. We're going to want to start it, add a new saved location, and we're going to define our target monitor as whatever monitor your 7-inch display is or whatever you end up going with. Like I said, the 7-inch display that I'm using, it's $60 and it's linked in the description. I highly recommend checking it out. It served me really well, and it's tiny. So and cheap, way cheaper than most dashboards out there. So, but anyways, that is my third display here. So I'm going to select it, and now my display has changed. So it shows I've chosen the right display. And it's showing here display 3. So now if I go back to my lovely plugin, this is where I can set up the idle screen. So right now we're in the idle screen. I want my driver number, so I'm going to say 302. You can set that to whatever you want. Our color scheme is purple, black, and white, so I'm going to take purple. Driver name, my name is Logan Senhauser. And you can put a background image. I like having it black. I don't mind the black. So I've just kept it that way. You can adjust, different things in the display. But what I'm going to do now, just so that we can, go in and customize the display a bit more. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to start the game so that I can show you what some of these changes change in the display. Okay.
Copy that. Let's do this.
This is the spotter. Check, check.
So you can see, hopefully I got that started in time. When I joined the session, the dash clicked over to the new screen, which is obviously what we're looking for. So now we're going to mess with some settings here, like I said, just to share and kind of show you what these different settings do. So if you're, and I'm going to do some overlay magic stuff here to kind of help out. So idle screen we already looked at. This UI corner radius, this adjusts the corners on the dash. I leave it all the way low because it's a square dashboard. Or actually, I can't remember, to be quite honest. But I'll mess with it later. You can do the brightness mode of all of the outlines and stuff like that. I leave it on high. You can choose what's giving you lap times and deltas and gaps and stuff like that. I let the game do it where it can, and then SimHub for everything else. I kind of tried messing with this before and had mixed results, so you can mess with that however you want. But this just changes where the data is coming from. How you want other drivers' names displayed. This is to enable the virtual rev lights, which is something I absolutely need. It's super helpful for me. Obviously do that how you would like. But yeah, these are all the customization stuff here. So you can even set it up so that when your ignition is off, the dashboard turns off, just for a little bit more realism. There's these dark modes that are pretty cool. I've never really used. The purple one looks awesome to me, but I can never quite get it to work right on my dash. Or I think I need to configure a button for it, and I don't want to give up a button just to change dash colors. Yeah, and then again, just more customization stuff here. If you want to set it up the way I had it set up, so you've got your modules here. With the base version, which is what I have, you have your left module, which is on the left side, and the right module on the right side. You can only set up 3 settings for each one that you can cycle through. So other important thing, make sure you're editing the right game here, because different games, it's going to pull up different profiles depending on the game that you're on. So for iRacing, I did lap times, and I want that as my default. Tires, and then I also did, I think, I rating? Yeah, here we go, I rating in the bottom here. And then for my right, I do, obviously, relatives. So I did opponents on track is what shows whoever's directly in front and behind you, and then my opponents is what shows only the people you're racing, so it won't show lap traffic even if they're near you, and it won't show.
Just run out 157.83.
And it won't show like other classes and stuff like that. It only shows you what you need to know. So those are the 2 I like, and I like to have the track opponents by default, at least for iRacing. This is for overlays. I don't use that. And then for my center module, I choose this one just because I like being able to see the time. These ones will show you deltas, and you can set them up however you want. And then fuel module, I actually set a button to cycle that. I use both the laps left and the timer as well. But the next step I'm going to show you is how you can set up buttons to customize those. So just so my screen cap can pick this up, I've moved my dashboard from the display below up. You can do that. You can make it windowed and drag it around if you want. But the way that I showed you how to set it up defaults it to your bonus screen there. But if you come down to the bottom, you'll see these A, B, C, and D, and you'll see that these can change the different boxes, right? And then D changes your center display there. So you can actually link those to buttons if you go up into this top right, this settings wheel. And then you can set them up within SimHub. This is the way I do it. It just makes more sense to me. Override controls. So there's a few different dash screens that you can cycle through. I just use this dash, but there's one with like a mini map and one with relatives and different stuff like that. But like I said, this is the display that I like. And then trigger dash on A, B, C, and D. A is the left side, B is the right side, C is fuel, and D is your gear indicator. So I have buttons that I map for all those. So I'm going to click, map the button, click the button, click save. And then click to configure, click the button, click save. If you're doing sim racing, you should be familiar with this whole thing. So there we go, click save. And then I don't worry about D. I don't use it, so. And then obviously click OK. And then I'm going to drag this back down. And I'll switch back to this camera so you can see. So now this button will switch the left side, this button will switch the right side, and this will switch my fuel. So there we go. I'm going to get out of SimHub. And we are now ready to roll. Look at that, huh? So I think that's it. We're going to wrap it up there. I've been rambling, recording for way too long. We're going to do this camera. No, we're going to do this camera. I hope you enjoyed. Hopefully I was able to trim this down into a video that makes sense and helps people. If I missed something or something's not working right, feel free to leave a comment. Obviously I can't troubleshoot super effectively. I'm not an IT professional, but I'll see how I can help. But yeah, this is my layout. Like I said, it works for me. But thanks for stopping by. I live stream on this channel. I live stream on Twitch. Both this kind of racing and we do IRL racing as well. We run a spec Miata, or not a spec Miata, a Miata, second gen Miata in endurance races. So there's content on this channel about that if you haven't stopped by the channel before. But John, this video was mainly for you because I know you're really interested in this, so hopefully you see it. But yeah, thanks for stopping by. Like, comment, subscribe, do all the things, and hopefully I'll see you or talk to you in the future. So cheers, y'all. We'll see you.